my loves? It's your girl Diamond. I'm back with my all new review of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get into it. So it starts off where it left off. Drew walking into the cooking class. Sanya and Drew have a greeting. Sanya's being fake, rubbing Drew's hair, smiling as if she wants her to be there. Drew said, I wanted to be here, be a supportive friend. And Sanya said, I'm glad that she came because I really want to squash things with her. Throughout that entire interaction and after Drew walked around and said hello to everybody, Sanya's face looked irritated. She don't want Drew around. I honestly feel like Sanya's trying to come in as a replacement. I mean, not as a replacement, but someone else coming in to say this is how you come on the show for your first season. And she wants to isolate Drew out of it. That's how I feel. So the ladies enjoyed the food. Sanya wanted to give a prize for the best dirty wine. And the type of prize she wants to give is one of her gold medals. And say, I know you ladies never seen one before, but my gold medals are here, and I wanted them to see what a champion looks like. I found it to be a little whack towards it. I felt like, okay, and I have a trophy. I have a medal. My son has a medal. My son has a trophy. I don't. And then Drew said, you don't see Candy showing off her Grammys. You don't see Kenya showing off her Miss USA crown. It's giving if Pick Me was a person. And I was with Drew on that because, Sanya, you are a name. Four-time Olympic gold medalist, girl. You are a name. Nobody's taking that from you, taking on your accomplishments. But I felt like that was kind of a lackluster of a prize to give because you're not giving away your medals. I don't know why you would even want to use that as a gift. It felt a little whack to me. It felt a little bit like, what the hell was that? So Marlo won a medal, and then Sanya starts out the conversation with wanting Drew to be there, and she really wanted to have a conversation with her. But Drew's confused as to why we are here because I thought we could have had a conversation in my room, and my makeup artist makeup for free. This gets Sanya all the way hyped up because she said that Drew is constantly throwing bombs because it was shade that, my makeup artist did your makeup. And she said, listen, first of all, it wasn't free. It was $25. Drew asked her, did you pay him? You never sent me the contacts. Vice versa, Sanya. You could have called Drew and say, hey, your makeup artist who touched me up, he said it was $25. So what's his cash app so I can send him the money? Simple. Sanya, you created little things that you have had your interaction with Drew to make it bigger than what it was, to solidify that you don't want to be connected to her. You know, be friends with her because based off of what you probably have watched last season, Drew is not going to have a likable season this time around. So you're placing a huge emotion over things that are so small and so insignificant because you now want to say she's insinuating I don't pay my bills. No, it's insinuating that did you pay my makeup artist? Period, point blank. It's not assuming you don't pay your bills. No. Did you pay my makeup artist? And she said, I don't pay her double, so I don't have to owe her shit. And then Drew's pretty much like, I wanted to have a conversation. We could have had one, but Sonya's turning up about how you're throwing bombs. You're not letting me talk. And I said, Sonya, you really want to create an issue with Drew. And you're giving a lot of energy where it didn't need to be one because Drew never did nothing to you. You're placing everybody else's interactions onto how you're feeling. You don't have an actual issue with Drew. You don't. And Mama Joyce is talking to her mother saying, what they talking about is so insignificant. It don't make no sense. Like, you want an audience. You wanted to have an audience. You wanted to develop friends. And you wanted them to, get in cool with them. And then, of course, her main issue was she didn't like how Drop It with Drew didn't make sense. Your business isn't adding up, and I don't like that. I would like to know who I'm dealing with, what type of friends I'm dealing with. And like Drew said, if my business didn't make sense to you, you could have called me. We could have had a conversation. So again, Sanya, you're purposefully not looking for a way to have a simple conversation with Drew. You are purposefully trying to create an issue in front of everybody to make it seem as if Drew is insufferable. Drew is somebody that I just can't talk to. I just can't get through. When it's simple communication that you say you do, but you don't do. And I want you to communicate and talk if you had an issue and you don't have one because you decided to embarrass me in front of the group. We could have had a simple conversation, but you didn't want to do it that way. You wanted to call me out in front of the group. And that's not good. So basically how you communicated to invited me to your photo shoot and how you disinvited me to the photo shoot and you invited me here. That was hurtful. How am I supposed to feel when I thought somebody who I was becoming friends with invited me somewhere, disinvited me, then invited me to another place? I don't feel like you want me to be around. I don't feel like you want to salvage this friendship if you're going around the merry-go-round with me in this way. And Sanya was giving her explanation as to why she didn't want to hurt her feelings. She wanted to be sensitive to Drew. And Drew is making faces because I don't see how you're being sensitive to me. And when you disinvited me somewhere, invited me somewhere, where is the sensitivity at? And Drew's making faces. Sanya's getting more irritated because he said, I ain't calling out your bullshit because I don't see how you're being sensitive towards me. I don't see how you're being understanding about my feelings. And why is my facial expressions annoying you? Because it don't make no fucking sense. I was with Drew. It was confusing as hell. So Drew's pretty much like, I don't understand what the problem is. And of course, Sanya's mother want to come in and say, you're doing things to antagonize her. You're talking, you're not letting her speak, and you're making faces to aggravate her. I said, well, Mama Sanya, like, you might want to sit back for this because you don't need to hop in on this. Sanya's a grown-ass woman. She can handle her situation herself. And Sanya can't get upset because Drew's making a face. Drew's very expressive, but Drew has a right to be expressive because it's confusing. It's weird. It don't make no sense as to how you're giving me all this energy when I don't know what the problem is. What's the issue? And she feels like she can't talk. You can talk. Just correct me. Correct me if I knew we had a problem, but you can't though. That's why I'm looking confused. And then Sheree's follower ass said, girl, you know you in trouble when your mama wants to flip the table. Girl, shut the fuck up. You talk too much. I said, Sheree, shut your ass up. Shut up. Shut up, shut up. Just shut up, Sheree. Just shut up. You have no leg in this fight. You don't have nothing to say. You and Drew squash your issue. Shut up. So Sanya and Drew go back and forth. I do believe that Sanya got help from her mother. And it didn't make any sense why you had a problem because she was said about Drew not giving her understanding. Drew was. It doesn't make any fucking sense. That's why I'm looking confused. And I'm a grown adult. If I'm making a face, I'm making a face. It should not bother you to the point where you can't give your explanation. You can still do what you have to do, say what you have to say. But my face is my face. You can control my face. And throughout all of this, Drew said, I believe that you are clout chasing. Sanya was like, I'm clout chasing off of you? No, not of me because I don't have enough followers. Girl, please, I'm a 4-time Olympic gold medalist. Girl, put some respect on my name. In my TikTok voice. Put some respect on my name. Put some respect on my name. And everybody was like, yes, that is my kind of read. You better boss up on these hoes. I said, okay, girl. Yay. Clap, snaps. Snaps to Sanya being a 4-time Olympic gold medalist, girl. Yay. But it still does not make any sense as to why you want to have an issue with Drew. And Drew had a point, though. You are clout chasing. You are because you are a name, but you're benefiting by rubbing elbows with people on the show. Favorite people, likable people. Kenya and Candy. They're the ones that have a bigger platform than everybody on the show. So you are rubbing elbows with them to make your platform even better. You are benefiting from them. So you are clout chasing. And Drew don't like how funny style Sanya is. I thought we were building a friendship, and if friends want to have an issue, we could have talked. The way you're moving is funny style. So at the same point in time, friends are different, Sanya. Friends have arguments. Friends have different views of opinion. It is what it is, understandable. We could have a different conversation, and it would have been fine. We could have been resolved. So after that, it's not resolved, but they're moving on. So Drew decides to bring Kenya in the mix so Kenya can explain her frustrations with Kenya about the vibrating panties. Kenya said, okay, since Drew want me to talk about what I felt, I did feel away. Candy said, you talked to her and not me? Well, yeah. Why? Well, because I didn't want to make you mad. So, of course, Candy is like, really? You told Drew and not me? Well, yeah, I didn't want to make you upset. I wanted to be supportive. Then Mama Joyce come in and said, nobody told you to put the damn underwear on. If you didn't want to, you didn't have to. Ain't nobody controlling my vagina but me. You right, Miss Mama Joyce. You are so right. And Candy was like, girl, I know you're not acting prim and proper right now. Girl, please. The girl who played lead in Twa, you was not prim and proper in that movie. That was a character, though, Candy. That was over some years ago when Kenya was in her early 20s. Come on now, we cannot use that. Even though she probably tapped into that character last season with the whole Bolo situation. Kenya was very loose then. But, I mean, come on, Candy. We cannot get mad about that. I feel like it's a 2 and 2, okay? Because Kenya felt like it was inappropriate. I'm a single one here. I didn't want to be buzzed by another man's husband. I didn't want to. And then, of course, you didn't have to have it when they're with the group. You could have enjoyed yourself in the comfort of your own bedroom. You could have. And I said, kid, you got to be open to other people's opinions. If other people don't want their vaginas vibrating in public with other people around, that's their prerogative. I hear you, though, Candy. I'm not mad. I want to buy me some. It's two different first of opinions. While Candy didn't force anybody to wear them, you had your choice of using them how you want to, and you gotta be understandable if somebody didn't want to wear them at all. I hear it both ways, okay? And it is what it is. So then Candy said, if you can come up with crazy sex stories, I don't believe you'll be so turned off by vibrating panties. Then how we all know about your history sexually. Then Marlo's in her confessionals talking about how Kenya slept with half of Hollywood. The producer wanted to know who has she slept with. Marlo said, look up Google and type in all the names that's been associated with Kenya when she was popping. Look that up. So Sanya thanks everybody for coming, and she said to be continued with our conversation, Drew. Drew said, no, there's no need to continue. It's a period dot. We're done. No need to have another conversation. So, Marlo. Marlo has been invited to the Women's Expo to discuss her life story, to open up about her foundation, Glam It Up, that she started in 2011. And it's pretty much about giving a space for girls who are in the foster care system. And it led them having parties and events, and it got bigger, and she started to be a nonprofit organization. And it's very important to her is what she wants to do for the rest of her life. So she had it rough. She was raised by her mother who struggled with substance abuse. And she was bounced around in 5 different homes. And she was mad at the world. She never experienced love, never knew what love was. And she came from a place she felt alone and wanted to create a place that women don't have to feel alone. I don't want little girls to feel alone as I was. So she had big names contributed to her foundation. And she wants to make a difference in these girls' lives. I want to know you're cared for, you're loved. And I want to invite them to a different change. I want to have them have opportunities that I never had growing up. And she's very caring of her girls. She says she's taking her girls to 5-star restaurants, give them the world, get the best of the best. And just because you don't have a fancy title, a big bank account, doesn't mean you're not worthy. So we see Sanya. Sanya is talking to her family about the dinner, how the dinner went well, of course, but got in trouble for not inviting Sheree and Marlo to her One Mommy Nations event. And of course, she understands that there's a lot of people in this group. You got to take time to get to know someone. And I want to make it up to them by talking to them, getting to know them more. And if they're all were invited to her photo shoot, it would have been a problem. It might have. But I want Sanya to keep it a buck on how her reasoning. She only invited Kenya and Candy because she benefited and connect with them the most. I want her to keep it a buck. That's why she did that. And Drew calls Marlo in a separate scene. Marlo's in the parking lot. Drew came in, called her, and wanted to know what did I miss before I walked in. And Marlo talked about Kenya being at Sanya's event and not showing up for Sheree's event. The whole thing about, is she faking about being sick? Is she truth about being sick? If you're sick, then why didn't you not come here, though? Why you show up for her event and not Sheree's? And Sanya was defending Kenya, and that led her confused. Drew said she's betting on the wrong team. I said, oh no, unless you're defending Kenya? Is that what you feel though, Drew? I got confused. And Marlo is eating that up, how you're talking about how she's betting on the wrong team. She's defending Kenya. That's going to make Marlo say something. And basically they don't understand. Yeah, I understand what that meant. And Drew don't like how Sanya is moving. She side-eyeing her because she's moving differently and I don't like it. And yes, continue on with Drew making faces. I wasn't mad at her making faces. So next we see her family having their argument about how her mother jumped in, said that Drew wasn't letting her talk, and then she called her a clout chaser, let her brought up the whole Olympic gold medalist thing again. Her father makes a bop, 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 because obviously, I shut it down because I told them I'm a Olympic gold medalist. And it is what it is. Then her sister brings up that she was not like Melanie on the game. She wasn't the lead role. Okay, well, that lets me know you watched it, though. While she wasn't the lead role, she was an iconic character, and how we always talk about how Drew Sidora slept with Derwin. That we always got to bring that up. It's Drew Sidora who slept with Derwin and crushed and messed up med school. She hurt med school. Like, come on now. Just because she was not the lead character, she was an iconic character, though. She was playing herself. That's a very well accomplishment in the acting world. To play yourself, that's good. And her mother was like, what's the game? I don't know what that is. So she didn't watch the show. But at the same point in time, though, they didn't watch the show. They know who she was. So I said, I believe that Marla's being disingenuous because she wants to throw all of her energy onto Candy. How Candy is not showing up to be a friend to Sheree. How she did not come out and call Sheree about how she was doing, and why didn't she invite Sheree on an outing to Old Lady Gang and be a celebration. I said, shut up. It kills me how everybody, or Sheree and Marlo, are mad about how Candy did not check on Sheree. Who the fuck cares? I don't care. I'm not about to use the rest of the season or my energy to be upset about how Kenny did not check on Sheree. I don't give a damn. Sheree is not nobody's friend. And how, why did she pick Candy of all people to be invited to her Mommy Nation's photo shoot? You know, we're all moms in different ways. She can invite all of us. Boo hoo. You didn't get invited. Boo hoo. Okay? I'm done with this. Good night. So Sheree, her life coach comes over pretty much talking about how Tyron wasn't the man that she expected him to be. He used her. He was a fantasy. Some shit like that. I didn't get what her therapist life coach was trying to say. I think I wrote that maybe he was a man who had nothing to do. He discovered who she was on television, put all his focus on her, fantasized about being with her. And when he got all the attention of being with a man connected to Sheree on TV, he was gonna be a different person. But not showing up and not being the man that he was promised to be to her, it made her feel stupid, it made her feel naive, and all this time he wants to cloud off my name. If he was, he would have made you look stupid, but it kind of worked in his benefit because he probably did get some girls after being connected to Sheree on Real Housewives of Atlanta. 9 out of 10 it might though. So he asked her, "Are you done?" She said, "I don't know." But he tells her, "Stop pouring into other people. Focus on you. What are you passionate about?" She by Sheree. So we're back into the 10-year business that have never grown, never came out of She by Sheree. When it flashed back to the beginning, when Sheree was on there, I said, wow, look at times have changed. Man, and nothing has came about. It's crazy. You've been on there for 10 years, Sheree, and nothing came about for your business? Nothing? You have nothing to show for it? And of course, it fumbled to her last reunion when she didn't even know when her line was going to come out. All she said was joggers. When? September, spring, summer, fall, something like that. Something like that. I said, whatever, Sheree, you ain't got no clothes coming out. And how she has said all her businesses have started, have stopped. She's developed all these accessories. And I said, it's because you don't have the money for it. But anyway, she needs to find a great business manager and a great team. No more dating men in prison. Focus on you, okay? Fine, Sheree. I don't know why you wasn't focused on yourself in the beginning because, Sheree, you have a fitness body. You live, breathe fitness. Why haven't you tapped into what you're passionate about? You could have been had something. Everybody else is jumping and making businesses out of nothing. Come on now, Sheree. You know people. Anyway, so Candy, her and Todd are decluttering their guest house because it's a lot of stuff happening. They need to get rid of all these clothes. And of course, she feels like, first of all, I got all these clothes. Marlo has a donation, has a foundation. Let me see if I can donate to it. How do you do it? I don't know. So before that, she has to go to LA to film. She has a scene to do. Apparently, it's a sex scene coming up. Ties in his feelings, but he know what comes with it. And how maybe this could be my scene that gives me an Emmy. You know she wants that EGOT. So we're going to move on from that. So she calls Marlo to know how can I drop off the clothes to Marlo's foundation. She's on FaceTime. Marlo's looking confused. She pauses and said, I don't want to give the girls hand-me-downs. I don't want to make them feel like clothes are less than if somebody else worn. I want to give them a special feeling of receiving brand new clothes. Because I wouldn't even give my girls an open bag of chips. And in the 10 years that Kenny has known me, she knows how I work. She knows how I feel. She knows how my foundation means to me. I'm not going to give my girls a trash bag full of clothes. I'm like, what the fuck, Marlo? You don't have the space to give an explanation as to these foster girls, these foster kids who don't have anything, to say they're not worth receiving hand-me-downs. They're not worth receiving clothes from Candy Burrs. Girl, Candy Burrs. And Ty said, I told you she didn't want them clothes. But I was with Candy. I don't know why she's making a big deal about me giving away gently used clothes. Clothes I've only worn one time. I know my clothes are in good condition. And to make it seem that my clothes are not worthy enough to be donated to your girl. See, that's another opportunity, Marla, that you squandered. You squandered. How you said Candy don't do enough for the community. Candy doesn't help other people. She does this. She does it selfishly. You squandered an opportunity for Candace Burris Tucker to give you clothes. That could have gave you more of a leg up. But you felt like her giving away clothes wasn't worthy enough for your foundation. It's a charity. You cannot put a price on how to give stuff. You can't put a price on that. If people want to give stuff out of the kindness of their heart, that's all you can ask for. You want people, girl, these, it's going to come up later. Let me move on. So Sheree meets up with Kenya at a cafe, and Kenya is going through a lot. She has missed deadlines for her businesses. She almost missed this deadline, and her bottles are backed up in China because of the pandemic, and she doesn't have a team. she's by herself and she doesn't make the deadline, she will lose her biggest retailer and she will lose everything. All of the legacy of Kenya Moore Hair Care is for Brooklyn, and I had to get it all straightened out. I could tell that Kenya is stressed. Along with her being sick, she is definitely stressed. And Sheree said, girl, I hear you, because nobody knows how it works on the outside. They can just see it happening, but they don't know how it works. And as a one-woman team, girl, I hear you, because she felt like I have had multiple businesses start. And while I'm at that point where it's going to come out, I get my male business manager telling me, you know, I like you, right? Mixing business with pleasure. I'm not about to do this. I gotta be professional. And she said, okay, let's find you some female CEOs who's not about to mess up your brand, your opportunity to build your business if all he wants is to have sex from you. Let's find you some women. Women can build each other up. And basically from that point on, we're just talking about how we need to make a way for us to build each other up to have business, because women can't work together. They can. It does suck though when men come in to build a woman's business, but they look for a way to get in with that woman. Physically, sexually, and they just let it go. That's why you don't mix business with pleasure. You don't do it. And Kenya's still sick, and that's the reason why she wanted to meet up with Sheree today. She is feeling a way that Marla wanted to make it seem as if I was lying about being sick, and I wasn't. Like, what's wrong with her? Why would she do that to me? Makes it seem I was faking? Girl, please. Marla would never look good on her worst day compared to me. She has all types of wig glued to her head, and try to even come close to how I look, waking up and falling out of bed, okay? And I ain't mad, because Marlo definitely tries hard to be to be next to Kenya. She tries hard to be better than everybody, and it falls flat. And then how, you know, like she's acting as if I'm not a good friend. Like, she is acting like a double agent. She's smiling in my face, laughing, kikiing, but then behind my back, she's talking shit. Like how she wants to talk shit about how I wasn't there for you, I didn't show up for you, and it was how all I did was buy some flowers and cheap eggs. Sheree was under the impression that it was Drew and Marlo who came up with the cupcakes. No. All Drew did was get the stuff that I already had prepared to do. Now, it flashes back to Drew actually preparing the cupcakes. She didn't know. But the situation is what it was. Drew came as a messenger for Kenya because Kenya was sick. She still wanted to put her effort into doing her part for helping Sheree feel better. So from that point, we ain't going to do nothing else to it. So Sheree understands. She was happy that was clarified, but I wanted Sheree to clarify how, while that happened, Marlo had a conversation to me, and she was talking shit about you and Candy, and I co-signed. My bad, because I felt the way that you wasn't there for me, but now you understood. My bad. I want Sheree to say that, but she ain't. She's going to listen. I said, yeah, it would be the perfect time for you to how you agreed with Marlo, how Kenya was a hoe, Kenya slept with everybody, so all the rappers, you said agreed, true, facts. I want Sheree to open up with that too, clarify some things for Kenya, because both you and Marlo are fake as hell. But she said, I do believe that Kenya was sick, and I do believe she did go out of her way to make me feel better as a friend. I have to respect that. Sheree, you fake as hell. So Kenya definitely has her right to be upset, because why is she trying to turn on me? You know, you on probation on me being friends with you anyway. All the times that Marlo has shaded Kenya, talked about her mother not loving her, her wig, everything else in the third, Marlo has definitely not been a friend to nobody. Always talks shit about people she's inferior to. And it's kind of like, I'm not about to go through this toxic cycle with her again. And as of now, is she going to continue this? I'm not about to be friends with her, no way. And I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at that at all. It's a very tough cycle. I don't be friends with that. And she said, why don't we have a lunch? Maybe we can all come together and be better as friends. And then Kenya pays for the meal. You better pay for that meal, because I think after that $11,000 that Sheree spent for Fendi, she can't afford nothing else right now. So the girls had their luncheon. Drew and Sanya came together, and it was awkward. That could have been the perfect time when nobody came for Sanya to have an actual conversation with Drew before everybody else came, but no. Both played it fake. Both played it nice. Awkward as fuck. Marlo came in, and Drew and Sanya were cordial, but girl, they not. So Marlo's not having a good day. She received a letter that her sister was about to be released by her attorney, but she got in front of the judge and they denied it because she is put in jail for a minor traffic violation. And whenever she's in front of a judge, they can see she's not mentally there. She has some mental illnesses happening. So they denied her release, but she wants to go to a weekly rehabilitation facility. But the judge came up with her doing inpatient, not outpatient. I can release her if she's doing inpatient. I can't trust her doing outpatient. So she denied outpatient. if she was inpatient, they can see her. Her sister and her kids can see her. But she doesn't want to. She want to take the case to trial. And if she was in her right mental state, she would have said, I want the help. But she is battling mental illnesses. It prevented her saying she wants help. She has not an opportunity, but a chance. She could go to jail for a year if she doesn't win. And she has her nanny with her. She has her nephews here. She has a 2:30 call from her attorney today, and she wants to see maybe if her kids saw her, her kids can say something. Maybe that can give her the ability, the courage to now want to say, I want help. Because Marlo wanted her mother to love her enough to want to change, wanted to battle her substance addiction. But her mother never did. She figured, I thought the love of her child would want to give her the strength to want to get over her addiction, to get some help. And she doesn't want her nephews to go through that same thing. Maybe she talks to her children. Maybe they can want to say, okay, mommy, we love you, we miss you. And maybe that'll give her the strength and courage to battle her addiction and get some help. So she's stressed out. I could tell she is. So Kenya walks in. I can see Kenya is worn out. Kenya is sick because her outfit was struggling. Her wig was a mess. She don't feel good, but everybody else said, you look good, girl. You look good. Sheree comes in. They all talk about how is Sheree doing? Has she moved on from here because you are too good for that man? And then they bring up, where is Candy? Candy is filming for the show in all black. And they showed us a scene with her, Kendall, Jessie Wu. I was like, oh my God, go Candy. I should subscribe to All Black so I can watch a la carte because it looks really good. From the scenes that some clips that I've watched, it looks good. I might have to go ahead and subscribe, okay? So while Marlo is kissing Candy's ass about killing that role, she still wants to turn around and talk shit about her and say, I want Candy to be there for her. I want there to be more for Sheree. I want her to give back more. And especially how, she wanted to give me hand-me-downs for my foundation. I didn't think that she should have did that. I don't like that Kenny did that. And Kenya was like, Marlo, you doing too much. He's like, what? You doing too much. Like, first of all, stop that. Okay, I grew up on hand-me-downs, all right? Okay, but when I was in the foster care system, they gave us garbage bags of old toes, used clothes. But Kenya said, I think it's sending the wrong message. That you think worth is having brand names for clothes. That's not the right message. The message is, if people want to give you clothes, you should be gracious. And like I said, you honestly think that Ken's gonna give you old years of clothes with holes in the middle, faded colors? No, these are gently used clothes she only worn once or only bought and never worn. These are good clothes to use. And you want to turn your nose up at it? And then she said, I got picked on at school, though, for the clothes that I wear. Kenya said, we all got picked on. Who else didn't get picked on? It's still sending the wrong message, though. It's still sending a message. Like, girl, you can't vilify somebody wanting to do good. You want to tear them down because they don't meet up to your standards. And I was with Kenya on that. Because it's stupid. It's stupid. Why you want to have an issue with Candy giving away clothes if that's what your foundation is supposed to be about? Giving back. But you want to be upset because it's not brand new? These girls don't need to have their nose turned up on clothes. They're not about to be branded in Givenchy, Louis Vuitton, Yves Saint Laurent. Girls, these are like, 15-year-old girls? They need to take what they can take and be gracious about it. Girl, bye. You need to give them moral values and life lessons. While you are gifted with clothes of a brand name and a higher name, but you also know the meaning of hard work to receive it. You need to give them different values of life more than just having a brand name of clothing, Marlo. More things, there are a lot more in life than having a brand name of clothing. You're not somebody if you have Givenchy and Gucci. Hell no, you're somebody because you're a hard worker and you believe in yourself. You have faith. Clothes don't make the man. The man makes the clothes, Marlo. You can miss me, okay? And Kenya used this opportunity to turn around on Marlo, how you want to blame the other person what they didn't do. And that's not a friend. You need to make sure that you're there for a person, you're there for them, and not make it seem as if you're the only one that's doing it because you want to bring up how somebody else didn't do it. Like how you want to say, I'm lying about being sick, that I wasn't there for Sheree when I was. And I can see how Kenya was really emotional about it. I saw a tear in the corner of her right eye because that's not a friend. The purpose of the party was to make Sheree be happy, not throw it in her face that I'm not there for her or I'm lying about being sick. That ruins the whole purpose of you trying to make her feel better. And how I just want you to be there more. I just want you to show up. Who has said Kenya never showed up? That's the thing that's confusing to me, though, Marlo. Sheree called Kenya. Kenya was the first person that she called to talk about what happened with Tyrone. And Kenya was there for her, wanting to find a flight for her, see if you're okay. That was Kenya. Where was you? Oh my God. Then they go back and forth because that's not being a friend. A friend don't talk about me if I'm not there. Then in front of my face acting all smiling. Don't vilify me because of my reason wasn't good enough for you that I'm not being a friend of somebody. That don't have nothing to do with you. You're not being a friend if you're talking shit about behind my back, smiling in my face. That's not what a friend is. Your composition is all the way off. And then Marlon hit her back with that wig is off. And that wig was off, Kenya. That wig was definitely shake and go, starter up, synthetic wig, realness. But Kenya was stressed out. And she said it is. My hair is a fucking mess. I'm going through a lot right now. So I have to put what I put on to get here. Okay, you can leave me alone with that. And then Marlo talks about how are you someone with a head full of hair? You have a hair care company and you're wearing wigs. Because she can. 9 times out of 10, her hair is probably stressed out, worn out. She probably just put on something and left the house. Sometimes you don't need to fix your hair all the time. When you're not feeling good, when you're not in that right space, you don't want to touch up your hair. You just want to put on something and go. Marlo, leave me alone. And how about you? You had a hair transplant. You're not letting your hair breathe. You wearing wigs all the day, every day, lace fronts and everything. Girl, good night. So, like she said, don't talk shit about me and be a friend to me if you're not being a friend to me. But then Marlo said, me and King go back and forth, but she knows I love her. It's all good. But, then it led to Sheree hopping in the conversation about how she wished that Candy called her up. Candy showed up for her and how she wishes, what happened. Maybe we had a conversation, her to reach out, this and that and the third. I said, Sheree, shut up. Why are you now upset that Candy did not show up for you? You don't show up for her. You don't show up for nobody, okay? And then she brings up Sanya about how, would you want to be friends with somebody who doesn't show up for you when you need them? Sanya said no. I said, because you want Candy to reach out to you, and then she wants to use the fact how Candy didn't reach out to her when Drew was talking about her, and how since she didn't reach out to me about Tyrone but told everybody else, it was kind of like she's spreading a rumor. Huh? How is it a rumor? If what happened to you getting left next to a heat lamp in the cold was actually what happened. It's all over the blogs. Like Marlon said, I can Google you. Sheree missed me. Now, I understand you want friends to show up, but you need to take what you can take. Your high expectations of people coming to you, people reaching out to you is going to get old real quick because you don't do the same thing to them. You don't do the same thing to them. You can miss me. So, basically, Sanya said she didn't know how to handle the information she was shared, and she wanted to wait until Sheree said something. And I think that's what Candy did. Like, I don't like the fact you really want to blame Candy, how Candy never reached out to you about Tyrone. If you were embarrassed on national TV, I don't think you want to have anybody call you right now. You might want to be in your lonesome, under some covers, eating ice cream. So Candy did it right. She wanted to wait until you said something. So she never oh my God, the expectations that Sheree has when she doesn't give it to anybody else. You can miss me with that. And then, of course, Sheree, you're not innocent because you have been speculating about what Todd and Kenny's marriage has been since the season started. So fuck you. Go to hell. Okay, so basically, Sanya wanted to apologize for them for not inviting them to the Mommy Nation, and she wanted to make it up to them. So she has a trip coming up soon to Portland to shoot a shoot with Nike, her brand deal that she's partnered up with. And then Drew came in and said, are uninvited guests or are invited guests coming? And she said, no, you're not coming. Oh, damn, because I feel like, I just want to make sure. Because you invited me to that too. And Sanya said, no, I never invited you there. Yes, you did. So the fact that Drew called her out for not inviting her, for not clarifying how you're going to invite somebody, disinvite somebody, Sanya got upset. And basically, it's just so funny how you acting like this. You want to invite people in front of me and never give me the understanding of am I invited or not. And Sanya got super upset. She couldn't handle it because you're moving funny. So Sanya got super hyped and super happy that she got another moment with Drew to now solidify I can't fool with her. Because she now wants to say, you say I don't pay my bills. She mentions one thing though. Sanya, and have you figured that out? Have you given her the money to pay her makeup artist? $25? We're not about to be upset over $25 though, Sanya, are we? So then, of course, while Sanya is extremely, extremely upset, my girl, you don't let nobody else talk. You keep doing this and that and the third. And then Drew said, first of all, you go for 0 to 20 million for no fucking reason. And while they're going back and forth, Kenya is pulling Drew's chair. Pulling her. So that way nobody else's hands can get touched. Nobody else can get each other's faces because you guys are right next to one another. I was dying laughing how Kenya was pulling Drew's chair away. And I felt like Drew has the right to come at her because you're moving funny. I want you to say what you mean what you say. I have nothing else to do. It's so funny to me. They go back and forth. Sanya said, you're whack, bro. You're fake. You're fake. But you're coming at her for no reason, though, Sanya. You're doing all this and that and third. And then how she did talk about the trip with Drew, which meant that she probably was going to invite her. So you got called out for inviting somebody else again and still not giving them an understanding of, am I coming or not? Sanya really wants to hang everything on Drew and how Drew cannot understand. Drew's impossible to talk to. But I said, girl, no. That's not what it is. So Sheree and Kenya separate them, and Drew's nipple was out. That's my new nipple. Thank you. Goodbye. And of course, Sanya said, she's whack, bro. She's whack. This and that, there. And Drew don't want nothing to do with that. And she said, what'd I do, Kenya? What'd I do? She said, well, you did cut her off. Said, I did. Yes, and I ticked her off. But Kenya felt like they can get back on track. No, we can't. Okay, maybe we go to Portland. Oh, hell no. She doesn't uninvited me for the last time. I'm not going to no fucking Portland. I'm good. I'm straight. Okay? Like, it's so funny, though, how in this moment, I found Drew not even doing anything. I found Sanya getting called out, fumbling in her lies and her words, and couldn't handle it. That's how I look at it. So, Marla's seen a whole different side of Sanya, and now she's preparing for her sister. But I do find it funny, though, that Marlo called you a bitch last episode, and she said you haven't been on track in 15 years. Marlo has just said about you. Drew never said nothing about you, but you want to still make it happen. See, Sanya, I see your cards. You are playing nice with the people who you know is going to benefit from the show, and you're making certain that you don't cross any of them because they're time to OGs. You don't want to cross them. You want to go ahead at the person who didn't have a first good season. That's what you're doing, and I feel like it's going to end badly for you because I'm not liking it. So right now you have a valid reason that you created to have an issue with Drew, which I found insignificant. I found it was a waste of energy that you put out there for that. And your energy for everything that happened for Drew. It was hilarious to me. So after that, all the ladies left. Marlo stayed behind because she was preparing for her FaceTime call with her sister. They didn't show the conversation. She explained what happened. Her sister wasn't herself. She was cursing at her, yelling at her. She threw a chair at the monitor. And she wants her sister to get help. And she feels like her sister is not being herself. And Marlo is upset. They're all emotional. They're all crying. And she's going to do the best of her capability to give the boys a bright future. Because the conversation she thought was going to happen, it didn't happen. Her sister is not herself. Her sister's battling mental illness. And I just hope that it all gets better. I think Marlo is very upset. I think she's very hurt. And of course, she's feeling like, what am I going to do? How am I going to raise these boys? I know that's what Marlo is feeling right now, but I think Marlo will do what she can. I really do. But, y'all, that's it. That's all I have. Please stay tuned for my next video, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.